LIV golf season has just ended, and it ended in kind of a compelling fashion that made me realize a few things about this tour that all have some real redeeming qualities and really make it, in my opinion, competitive, at least in some areas with the PGA Tour, especially considering the feelings that I have, especially for the Tour Championship and the way that it's kind of about being the champion of the FedEx Cup or of the season, when that realistically is just not the case in the way that the PGA Tour is worked around. Not to say it's not good, not to say Tommy Fleetwood didn't do a good job, but compared to LIV Golf, at the very least, it creates an interesting conversation. And the LIV Golf conversation as a whole about where it is 3 years on, what it does, how it contributes to fan appreciation for the game of golf is absolutely worth a conversation at the very least. So I've got a couple things up here from Twitter, just kind of getting into what it was like to be at the LIV Golf event this past week, to watch Jon Rahm's team win and beat, sorry, this is so zoomed in, but, you know, watch Jon Rahm beat Bryson DeChambeau's Crushers in whatever their team championship was. And sentiment really, really seems to be positive here, with a lot of people going and having a great time at this event. I mean, just look at these photos. The crowds are mobbed. It's absolutely full. They've got beach balls. They had a concert for everybody. They're really trying in a way that I think is profoundly different to the PGA Tour. Not to say they're not trying, but I have made my complaints very obvious with how the Tour sets up the Tour Championship. Not to say I don't think they should get rid of it. I in my first rant on this channel, this is the new Rolu Golf channel where I just kind of talk about professional golf and the golf world as a whole. And I think the Tour Championship is in a little bit of a confusing spot, where not only are the professionals confused about where it sits, what it means, because they're tweeting about it, they're talking about it in interviews, they're making jokes about it. Tommy Fleetwood was saying it would be funny that he would win the FedEx Cup after, you know, his season, considering how good Scotty was. And it is funny. It's just in a little weird, confusing spot. And LIV Golf at the same time is not, for something that's been so confusing to me for so long, is not really as confusing. And they're delivering a project that I think is appealing, at the very least, for fans at the events. Now, the tickets are, I don't know the exact prices and everything, but I do know the tickets for at least the majors and a lot of PGA Tour events can be very inflated, though the usual PGA Tour event ticket isn't wildly expensive. So I don't think it's anything like LIV Golf is undercutting, making these tournament matches super, or their tournaments, like, easier to get to than, you know, like easier to get to than any PGA Tour events. But look at this crowd around Bryson shot here. It's fiery, it's exciting, it's full. Look at this. It's everyone down that fairway is showing up ready to watch Jon Rahm, ready to watch Bryson, and ready to watch him play some really good golf, because that's what they can do. They can play really, really good golf, and the fans are showing up in a way. I'm not saying they're not for the PGA Tour, but I think, considering the discussion that we've been having around LIV Golf kind of being just this annoying little brother that's there, they have all this money, but people really don't care about it, it's hard to ignore. And that's coming from someone who doesn't really, I don't watch LIV Golf more than just throwing it up on YouTube when it pops up every once in a while. And I literally tell stories about golf for a living. If LIV Golf were failing, I would have made a LIV Golf failed video, right? But I don't really know if it is. I know financially, I'm sure they're not doing great, just because they don't get a wonderful viewership, and they're paying these guys unbelievable wages. But I know some of the financials is a little bit weird about how they're justifying it and how they make it all work in the accounting of it. But with the Saudi pockets from the money that they have, it's basically never ending. But it does challenge the PGA Tour in a way that I think is good, especially for, like, the putting on a show part of that whole thing, where LIV Golf, I think, in the, like, week-to-week viewership ratings, will never be able to hold a candle to the PGA Tour. And if they do, good for them. I like the PGA Tour. I think it's a better product for viewers online, which is the predominant amount of golfers, because they can't just, the events are all over the country, and you can't always get out to them. It's not always possible. So the most important thing to me is creating a good broadcast, basically. That's why I've made so many videos complaining about the way PGA Tour events are broadcast. I complained about the U.S. Open this year because they rolled out drone tracers, which I already don't think are great from what we've seen, where they change color, showing if it's going to go to the fairway or the rough. And I think that's good in theory, but it actually distracts for us, and it makes it more difficult for us to see where the ball's actually going at times than just sitting behind the golfer and watching the tracer go out like you'd see on YouTube normally. It's weird, and they're trying to make these changes. PGA Tour is trying to make a better product, but I just don't think it's working. At the U.S. Open, the drone tracers weren't working for the vast majority of the rounds, and if you watched any of the added group coverage, like the select group, whether it's Rory, whether it was Bryson, whoever it was on these specific group coverages, they didn't have tracers for the first 3 days, basically. And that's like, and with a rough so long, you have no idea where the ball is going when you just when the cameraman, when they switch cameras to the fairway camera, and then the fairway camera can't find the ball because it's stuck in the rough somewhere, and nobody has any idea where the ball is. That's very frustrating, and especially for someone who when I tell stories about how a round goes or something like that, it's nice to be able to say he hit it to this spot exactly, and to prep that writing before he actually gets to the spot. I can when I see the tracer and I see where it lands. The U.S. Open, I think, failed epically at that. I think J.J. Spawn's putt on 18 honestly saved that in a similar way that Tommy Fleetwood winning the FedEx Cup yesterday, I think kind of saved the FedEx Cup, the Tour Championship there. But LIV Golf here, it feels like they started from very low expectations. No one expected them to be good. And I really don't know how their live product is compared to the PGA Tours, but at least they are challenging the PGA Tour in terms of this event in person. I think it would be very easy to show an event where to kind of grow a tour and then have nobody watch it and nobody attend, but they're at least in the terms of it working in person, it's really impressive to see. And I guys, I'm not even saying like the PGA Tour is doing bad at it. I'm just so impressed that there are so many fans here. And yes, guys, these are the photos that are making it on in social media, and so that doesn't mean that's the genuine experience for everybody. You expect maybe certain shots and everything will be more viralable. Like if I guess though, if it were empty, those videos would go viral. But like I'm looking at all of these photos from the LIV Golf event, and it looks like there are fans there. It looks exciting. It looks like some good live golf product. If they came to my area, I'd probably go to an event, not only to tell a story about it, and because I think I'd probably be able to bring a camera in. I'm not able to bring a camera into any PGA Tour event, not even like a little pocketable one. You can bring your phone though, which has a massive camera on it, but hey, whatever, we're not having that conversation today. LIV Golf's in a little weird spot, and we keep hearing about how they're going to merge tours. I have zero belief that that's ever going to happen. It continues to get pushed back and back, and for like rightly so. Why would the PGA Tour players at least want this to be together when these guys just got paid a huge bag, and now they're just allowed to play in both when all the PGA Tour members could have just gone to do that? And if they do merge, then what is keeping normal PGA Tour guys from signing a major contract with LIV, playing predominantly on LIV, getting a huge bag, and only playing select maybe signature events on the PGA Tour or whenever they want to? It's a weird area where golf is just not in a good spot to be able to maintain the two together, like competing in the same tournaments besides the majors, but those aren't PGA Tour events, so it's a little bit different. And so I don't know. LIV Golf is just in a weird spot where I don't think their viewership ratings will ever be wildly exciting unless they are doing some really special event, or Bryson, because his pull is wild online, is somehow doing something crazy. Maybe he's going, he shot 259s in a row or something and got a bunch of viewers to watch. I don't think it's ever going to be wildly interesting from a broadcasting perspective. I also think listening to that music is actually kind of distracting while watching the tournament, because I think just the way you watch golf is kind of like on a second monitor or on your phone while you're doing work, and you listen to the announcers kind of talk quietly about the history or whatever, about a lie or something, and then you watch a shot every once in a while. At least, for the most part, Sunday rounds at the end are a little bit more, thrilling and a little bit more main screenable, if that makes sense. While LIV Golf events, there's so much going on, and it just doesn't really fit how golf has develops into that, type of second screen product. So it's just cool to see it at least doing well in one way. I'm not even like I'm not pro Live Golf. They don't pay me like they pay Rick Shields, allegedly. They probably do. It's nothing like that. I think it's cool to see them creating at least it good in the Michigan area. It's not even like it's a major. It's not even like it's LA or New York or Miami. It's Michigan. To have this much of viewership in Michigan is pretty cool to see here. This is a you can see this big concert here. It's cool to see, and at the very least, I think it'll create the more you see it do a little bit well, the more you will hear talks going on between the tours. The more I think the PGA Tour will feel like they have to update their product a little bit. And I'm not saying bring a concert to the PGA Tour. I don't think that's what I want to see. I just think having that conversation and having competitors in a market is good for everybody, except maybe the CEO of the PGA Tour or Jay Monahan, whoever it is. We'll see what happens. I don't think Live Golf, again, I'm not praising Live Golf here. I'm kind of reacting to seeing all these photos and seeing just positive reactions to Live Golf overall. I think that's cool. Again, I'm not like defending it here. I'm not super gung-ho about Live Golf or super gung-ho about the PGA Tour either. I just want the best product for myself, for golfers in general. That's kind of the reason I complained about the Tour Championship yesterday, and I'll link that video at the end of this one if you want to see it. It's more of just it being confusing to not only me, but also everyone. And the PGA Tour has been around for 108 years or 109 years, or that's the PGA of America. You'd think they've ironed this out by now, but they haven't. They'll figure it out. I just wanted to throw this together here. Come on the second channel and rant again. Throw more content to you guys, and figure out what I want to do on this channel. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please subscribe. Let me know what you want me to talk about in the future. I got a lot of products. I might want to talk about other golf equipment and stuff like that every once in a while, or YouTube golf as well. Let me know what you want to see. And yeah, guys, this is a rant, things like that. I don't expect you guys to agree with me 100%. That's perfectly fine. I don't like think I'm absolutely right all the time. Sometimes, if it's different, whatever. But like, it's perfectly fine for you guys to disagree with me. I'm not going to get upset about that. I understand. And yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace, everybody.